All right, the focus of today's video is on how brands grow. We're going to go through 7 simple rules that talk about how brands grow. So normally we focus a lot on developing your brand by building for your unique niche audience in order to create a loyal following of fans and customers. It's a critical process, especially for smaller companies and brand and creators that are working to build traction and viability. Also important for larger brands as they focus on their current customers and their ideal customers, and they work to retain them and create ongoing relationships and engagement. But when it comes to growing your brand, you need to constantly raise awareness and bring new people into the fold. So once your foundation's built, how do brands continue to grow? So rule number 1, they're continuously trying to reach all the buyers of their brand's service or product category. So if you make hip hop, they're trying to hit all hip hop listeners. If they are a Mexican restaurant, they're trying to hit the whole audience for food. If they make sweatpants, they're not focused on people in a niche for sweatpants. They're trying to hit all sweatpants consumers or all clothing consumers. And they're trying to do this both with their marketing materials, but also with their distribution channels. So as brands begin to operate more broadly, they understand that growth stems from casual users, casual consumers, casual fans who've never heard of their brand or who've heard of it in passing. They've only interacted with it really lightly and probably haven't spent much money. It comes from getting more of those people to become users of their product and to know their brand. So what do? They target ads for audiences of brands larger than them that they think that they would appeal to. So let's say you are a band, you make a certain type of music, and there's a really popular band that makes pretty similar music. Not the same, yours is different, but they fall in the same genre as you, and you think, hey, if people like their music, they like mine too. They run ads targeted toward that band's fans and see who is going to come over. If you're a smaller restaurant and you know people really like this big local Mexican food chain, and you're like, they would love my tacos even more than they like the tacos at that spot. Might run ads targeted at their customers to try to bring them over. Beyond that, they also run really broad ads to really broad audiences, hoping to attract new customers. So they might target based on demographic information. They might target based on where people are located. They also might target based on things like lifestyle activities. And their goal is to just attract new people, making more people aware, get people to check them out. So what's important here? Understanding, knowing your audience, where they're located, how to reach them, what messages they're interested in, how your brand fits into their life, so that you can take that information and use it when you're communicating with a new audience that doesn't know you. You want to attract people with similar values and similar interests who just didn't know about your brand. Also means reaching outside of your expected audience so that you can reach as many people as possible. New sales potential lies with people who don't know you or don't know your brand, interacting with your brand, even casually. You want them to know who you are. You want them to come check out what you have to offer. So that's rule number 1. Continuously reach out to all the people in your brand's service or product category. Rule number 2, ensure that the brand is easy to buy. Lower your barriers to entry. The less commitment and the easier it is to try a new product or service, the more likely people are to try it when they're not already committed. So a lot of times what brands will do here is they'll introduce a price cut or a promotion, and this may not immediately be profitable, but it can create a positive association and it gets people checking out their brand, and it's more of a long-term play, right? But be careful when using price cuts and promotions because it can misalign expectations and sometimes have negative impacts. For example, if you're Walmart or Target and you're running a promotion, people are going to be super happy. They're going to be like, man, I'm getting a great deal. This is great. I love Target. I love Walmart. If you're a Louis Vuitton or a luxury brand and you run a price cut or promotion, people are going to be looking like, hey, what's wrong with this? Do people not want it? Is this not fashionable? What's the issue here? And they might stay away. So understand where your product and your brand is positioned in the market and act accordingly. So if you can't run price cuts and promotions, how else do you lower your barrier to entry? Reduce the friction in the buying process. That means making your product easy to buy and easy to locate. So understand, why aren't people buying? If you make music, why aren't they listening to your music? Why aren't they engaging? Whatever the case may be, understand what is stopping people and try to remove those barriers. If you're promoting a product online, make sure that the link takes the people directly to the product you're promoting. Don't just have it take them to the broad sales page where they then have to scroll to find the product they were interested. Take them to that product. Provide all the key information. If they need to know the price of shipping or how long shipping is going to take before they commit, make that easy to find. If they want to know a return policy before they commit, make that easy to find. Provide all the key information. Make it readily available. The easier it is to find the product and buy the product, the less time they have to have a change of heart. So, rule number 2, ensure the brand is easy to buy. Rule number 3, get noticed, but make sure that as you're getting noticed, people are taking time to process what they're noticing. Wasted dollars are when people breeze by your brand and they don't understand what they're seeing or they're not taking the time to recognize. So what do you do here? Make your brand distinctive. It needs to be easily recognized and distinguishable from other brands. It needs to catch the attention of potential customers or potential listeners, potential viewers, whatever it may be. Make it distinctive, make it catch their eye. People buy and engage with brands they know, see, and remember. Standing out and being memorable are key, but so is being seen a lot. Being seen a lot is important because first, the more you're seen, the more recognizable you are. Then after they recognize you, the more you're seen, you become familiar. And familiarity makes people comfortable. People are comfortable with things and brands that they've seen a lot. So get your brand in front of people. Use ads. Use a lot of different media channels. So maybe you're on TikTok and YouTube. Also be on Instagram. You want people to see you across different channels. The more they see you, the more they see your brand, the more recognizable it is, the more comfortable they are. But also, you need to make them think and process. So, you know who does this really well? Insurance companies with their commercials. And there's a ton of different insurance companies out there. Insurance is a really boring product. A commercial that says, hey, here's what plans we offer. Here's how much money we're going to save you. It's not going to stand out. People are not going to remember what insurance company that is. So what have insurance companies done? They've made really zany off-the-wall commercials with a lot of different recurring characters in them. And this really just helps them stand out. You know the Geico Gecko, you know their tagline, 15 minutes can save you 15%. You know Flo from Progressive. You know Jake from State Farm. You know these recurring characters, and you see crazy things happening within the commercials. So then you stop and think, why am I saying this? Oh, insurance, they're really helping me. You stop and process the information that you're saying. And that creates an association in your memory because you had to stop and think about what you were saying. So use distinct colors, understand the psychology of colors, use interesting phrases, use cool visuals, make people process the information that you're providing them. Then, piggybacking off of that, rule number 4, create distinctive communication assets. What do we mean here? Logos, social media templates, your marketing materials, your packaging, communicate the vibe, create a first impression that draws people in. Do not skimp on your visual identity. When people recognize your brand, they're more likely to notice and pay attention to your advertising and make mental associations. Here is a way that a brand has combined creating distinct advertising or distinct materials and also get noticed and make people process. Chipotle. You get your food, you go through the line, they give you your food, they give it to you in a brown paper bag. Brown paper bag is not just plain flat brown. It usually has a lot of writing and interesting font that's really crowded. You have to take a minute to read what's on the bag. You go back to work or wherever you're eating it, you put the bag down. Somebody walked past. They're like, oh, did you go shopping at a trendy store? And they start reading the bag and it's Chipotle ingredients in a unique font. And they're like, oh, it's Chipotle. But they had to stop and read and see what was on the bag because they didn't initially associate, oh, brown paper bag with unique design as food. So distinct assets that bring people in and make them process what they're seeing. 5, build new memory structures and refresh your existing memory structures. That makes it easier for your brand to be noticed and it makes it easier for people to buy your brand. So when I talk about brand links and brand memory structures, what am I talking about? This goes beyond just looking unique. Show people how your brand fits into their life by showing the product or service in use. Make a connection they'll remember. So, what does this look like? Talked about insurance commercials earlier, right? They follow a formula. Interesting character, something bad happens, somebody dunked a basketball, it rips off the hoop off of their garage, and now they have a hole in their house. Somebody falls through the roof, hole in the house. The dog is running through the house and it jumps on a table and breaks something. The cat is walking around on the counters and it starts the water running and your kitchen floods. Something bad happens. The insurance company swoops in and starts helping you fix it and clean it up, right? They're showing you how when the worst thing happens or when a bad thing happens, they're going to be there, help and support you. Coca-Cola is another brand that does this really well of showing how Coke is going to fit into your life, right? So Coca-Cola, they don't just show commercials of somebody eating dinner and pouring a bottle of Coke or drinking a bottle of Coke. That's boring. That's not what they care about. What Coke does is they attach their product and brand to sharing Coke with a friend, sharing Coke at the movies on a date. They're at the beach with your friends and family. You're all sharing Coke. Coke becomes a part of every essential life experience. You're at graduation party. Coke is there. You see a pretty girl. You don't know how to open. You're scared. You're nervous. You grab a Coke and you give it to her. And that's your opener. Coke becomes a part of every important connection and every important event in your life. And they're showing you how Coke fits into that. So Coca-Cola, another brand that does this really well. So what can you do? You can create experiences, make people see how the brand fits into their life, make that consumable, make it shareable, and you can appeal to other senses. I've done videos in the past talking about how you can use sensory appeal to elevate your brand from fragrance, from touch to taste, all of those things. Think about how you can use an appeal to other senses. I've also done a video on how you can use sensory appeal to elevate an experience. Go check those out. But in particular, fragrance and memory. So memory and scent, they're closely connected in the brain. The heart of branding is building memory structures. Think about how you can appeal to the other senses as well to create those memory structures and really get them going. Reminding people of them then refreshes that. So you're building new memory structures, and then you're reminding people of the existing ones so that they remember and see your brand and then spend money. Number 6, you want to be consistent yet fresh and interesting. So when we're talking about consistency, we're talking about consistency in the experience that you offer, your customer service, and the experience people have with your product and your brand. Consistency in understanding your customer, consistency in communicating your brand story, consistency in communicating your mission, your vision, and your values that drive your brand. Those are all really important. However, don't communicate them in the same way every single time. People will tune it out. They'll get bored. So how can you deliver the same overall message, but do it in unique or distinct ways? Can you add some music? Can you make some new visuals? How do you reinforce the story, but keep it fresh? Try different formats, try different channels, use different forms of social media, different types of content. Get creative, but stay consistent in the message and the offer. And then number 7, stay competitive, keep up with mass appeal. Don't give people a reason not to buy. So what is important here? Understand what's going on in the market. Understand what your customers care about. Stay on top of that. See who's coming into the market, see who's leaving the market, what opportunities that presents. Market intelligence, competitive intelligence, market research. You should be doing it consistently. You can get a lot of this from your customers as well. If they're not spending money, if there's a new competitor that has come up and they're smaller than you, maybe they're trying to take some of your customers away. Understand what's going on and how to operate accordingly. So keep up with the trends, keep up with mass appeal, stay competitive. And to this point, don't give people a reason not to buy. Not saying don't take a stance on things you care about or play it safe all the time or anything like that. What I'm talking about here is understand your customers. You've invested in their relationship. You've invested with people you collaborate with. You've chosen who you collaborate with, and you've invested in those relationships. You've invested in your different marketing channels and all of that. You know what's going on. You know how to reach the people who make your business go. Understand what's important to them, what values align to your brand, and then speak on like what's going on based on those values that you share and you care about. That is what I mean when I say don't give people a reason not to buy. It doesn't mean just staying quiet, staying squeaky clean. If that's not you, if that's not your brand, don't do that. Do what makes sense for your brand. If that is your brand and you want to be neutral, go for it. But understand what you and your brand cares about. Understand what your customers care about. Operate accordingly, and giving them a reason not to buy is doing the opposite of what you've told them to expect, what you've told them to care about, what you've told them that your shared values are. So don't betray that trust. And that's what I mean when don't give them a reason not to buy, in terms of understanding what's going on in the world and in the market. So just to recap the 7 rules. 1, continuously be reaching out to buyers in your brand's service and product category. New buyers, existing buyers, keep reaching out. Keep staying on top of them. 2, make your brand easy to buy. Easy to find, easy to buy. Don't create friction in this process. 3, get noticed, but make sure people are processing what they're noticing. 4, distinct asset. Standing out visually. Making people process bold colors, bright colors, unique slogans, unique phrases. Make people see something and take interest. 5, build and refresh those memory structures. 6, be consistent, but also be fresh and interesting. And then 7, stay competitive, keep up with what's going on in the market and in the world, and don't give people a reason not to buy. Thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you watched all the way through. Um, if you're looking to learn more about branding and building your business and marketing, I have a ton of videos on the channel. I also have some ebooks that are available, as well as an upcoming course, all for you guys to check out. So if you're interested in any of those, check the link in the description or my website, noisecomplaintsgroup.com. All the information is there for you. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a like. Appreciate all the support. Looking forward to making more content for you in the future. Thank you so much.